call the meeting to order and ask Misty to do a roll call.
Kara Hagan. Present. Georgia Holmes.
Here.
Andrea Kramer.
Here.
Bob Nelson.
Here.
Caroline Schwarzenbach.
Present.
Krista Spillane.
Here.
Tim Tesher.
Here.
Skylar Wetzel.
Here.
All present.
Please, thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. There's the flag behind the tree. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As you saw in your agenda, we had a discussion with the manager of Family Dollar, Dollar General? Family Dollar. And we believe we at least have a temporary, hopefully permanent solution for managing that alley with traffic and truck deliveries. And so if you're okay, we can remove the resolution from the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We have an agenda. Motion carried. The minutes from the November 21st council meeting.
I'll make that motion to approve that.
Second.
Any discussion? I think everybody was present. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Claims, bills, in between.
Make a motion to approve the bills in between.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Current claims,
I'll make a motion to approve the current claims.
I'll second that.
discussion?
Yes.
Tim?
Page 1,
Okay.
Hot Springs Citizens for Progress Travel, what is that?
Yeah, Kim, thank you.
We had a court hearing to deal with the claim that we had with the Citizens for Progress on the 315 North River Street. It was actually just the, having Sarah come down from Rapid City to the county courthouse meeting and then going back.
Okay, Tim's got a couple more.
We have on page 5, second one down, we have a boot reimbursement for Pete Miles. That kid didn't work most of the summer, how could he wear out a pair of boots?
I don't know that the boot reimbursement is tied to the number of hours they work. He did submit a receipt for a boot purchase that was greater than the $100, and the policy is that we reimburse those employees for $100 of their boot purchase.
Is that once a year?
Yes.
So this is, we won't see it again from him.
Well,
This year.
we're almost done with this year, but yeah,
Right.
right.
Bob, that should be recording right now.
It is.
All right.
So is he back to work?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Okay, any other discussion, questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Wells Fargo credit cards are once a month. Look at those.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Did you get the second? Oh. Depends on which year you're in. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll now move to the Chamber of Commerce monthly update. Scott Hayden is here. Thanks for coming.
Good evening. First of all, our Egg Appreciation Banquet was held on Saturday, November 19th.
Again, we had Taste of South Dakota, so we had lamb, pork, and beef available at the banquet. We had about 130 people in attendance. Our local FFA chapter and Tana White did a great job for us. They helped setting up, tearing down, and helped serve during the event. And Brad and Trixie Grill were named our Egg Producers of the Year this year. Events and promotions, we had our cookie cruise that we were working on for November, was held on Friday night. Right now we've got our judges' choices for the cookies, but not everybody's open on Mondays, so we will be getting those from tomorrow, and then we'll have our People's Choice and Judge's Choice for the cookie cruise. But I wasn't able to attend. My daughter was actually at a gymnastics meet at Wall, but talking with Olivia and Justin, that there was a lot of people downtown, and the festivities were excellent. So
It was a nice night for the parade.
Another event that we brought back was the business window decoration contest, and we had the storefronts available, and the judging was held on Friday night. We're still tallying those, and I'll have those available again tomorrow like that. But we had best interpretation of the theme, and then brightest and lightest for the storefront displays. Our Ho 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 promotion still goes through December 24th, and what that is participating businesses, for every $10 they spend, they get a stamp on a card. When they get the card filled, there's $100 on that. They can take it to the Hot Springs Star, and then we will have a drawing after the first of the year for $1,000 in chamber bucks. So all that money gets respent in Hot Springs, and it's a win-win for Hot Springs itself. We've sold almost $15,000 in chamber bucks over the last year, and all that money is spent in Hot Springs and stays in Hot Springs, so it can be used in any Hot Springs businesses. Ambassador visits for October. New owners out at the KOA, Todd and Susan, Bison Storage, Wonderment Gardens, Annie Jones, a new storefront downtown, and then Century 21. My wife was Century 21 Clearview. November, Lasting Expressions United. They are a new business in the area, and they do awards and things like that. So, they're trying to get involved and come to all our mixers. Beans Pet Supply, new members, and then Wesleyan Church, new pastor Aaron Hughes. Depot statistics, through October, we averaged about 20 people per day. If our weather's good, I think it makes sense to keep it open in October. November, we've averaged 5 people per day, and December, we've had 3 people the last 5 days. So I guess we need to have a discussion and I don't know if that's with Nolan and you, Cindy, or how you want us to work that, but just giving you the statistics of what's
that's good to
happening
know.
down there. So.
I'm wondering if with the holiday travel, people kind of coming home for the holidays, if
We're not sure. I'm just, we just.
Yeah, I think we said we'd do it through December, right?
Right.
So
I just wanted to give you, an update on that.
Yeah, I can readdress it later.
Tourism and bid. We've got our Southern Hills Vacation Guide and South Dakota Vacation Guide ads placed. We'll have the same double truck ad in the Hot Springs Welcome magazine, so we have the consistency of the theme all the way through. And then Black Hills Badlands and Lakes, we've got all of our advertising placed with them. We'll be at 10 different travel shows, and the road trip road shows during the summertime. We don't know exactly where those are going to be yet. They're still placing those right now, but they usually are in Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Denver. And what the road trip road show is they've got a trailer and a Jeep that's all put together for the Black Hills. They go to different events, hand out information on Hot Springs and the local communities like that at some of these local events. So what those are is during the summertime they have those available. We'll have a 2-page spread in the Black Hills Bride magazine again this year, showcasing weddings and wedding venues in Hot Springs. And then we just found out that our $40,000 will be matched by the Department of Tourism for the peak season campaign coming up. We'll have a teleconference with the Department of Tourism and Lawrence and Schiller on Thursday, and then we'll have the face-to-face with them early January sometime to finalize our 2017 campaign. Department of Tourism Conference will be held in Pierre on January 17th through the 19th, and the theme this year is Building for the Future. We'll need to print rack cards again this year, so I've got price quotes on $50,000 and $100,000 on the rack cards, and after our Tourism Committee meeting on Wednesday, I'll get those placed and get them available so we have them for the upcoming season. As you all know, the Secretary McDonald came to Hot Springs, toured the VA, met with the VA employees. I think everything went well for his visit. It was very short. We would have rather had much more time with him. I know that our congressional leaders wanted to be here, tried to get them to change the schedule. They couldn't work it out, but right now, that's what we are hoping to be, working with President-elect Trump's staff, and hoping to work with the new secretary when that's chosen, and keep fighting and keep the VA open here in Hot Springs. Upcoming events, December 10th is the Evan Plunge free admission with donations, non-perishable food items to benefit the local food pantry. Saturday, December 10th, Southern Hills Golf Course Christmas party out at the clubhouse. December 12th, Hot Springs Concert Association New Odyssey Christmas at Mueller Civic Center from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. December 22nd, we'll have a chamber mixer here from 5 to 7 p.m. And then we'll have a free movie, It's a Wonderful Life.
What day was that?
December 22nd. And again, check out Hot Springs Community Calendar for any events coming up. And if you don't see that on there, make sure that we know about it so we can make sure that we don't have 2 or 3 events booked on the same night. So that's what I've got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Keep it busy. What's that?
Any questions? Oh,
No,
Thank you.
thanks a lot, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott.
Appreciate it. All right, I have on communications from the public, someone from the Boys and Girls Club. Is that you?
Yeah, that'd be me
All
tonight.
right.
Jessica apologizes she can't be here tonight. One of her husband's a basketball coach, and one of his kids broke a finger or something. So he's at the hospital. And so she apologizes. So wanted to give you guys an update. Last month we had our wine and wreaths here at the Civic Center on November 12th. And we made $12,000 just in that fundraiser alone. That's the most that this event has ever brought in to our club. And we just wanted to come here. Jessica and I and Kelly wanted to express our appreciation for you guys' support throughout the years of supporting the Boys and Girls Club, and we're hoping we can continuing to work with you guys in the future as we are continuing to work and educate our young children for the Boys and Girls Club. And just want to give you guys some important dates that the Boys and Girls Club are going to be involved with. On December 2nd, we had our Christmas in the Hills parade, and we passed out cocoa tickets just to say thank you for the community of supporting the Boys and Girls Club. And then if you guys aren't doing anything on December 17th, the Boys and Girls Club, along with the American Legion Post 71, the Civil Air Patrol, we will all be up, and 4-H, we will all be up at our National Cemetery at 10 a.m. laying 200 Christmas wreaths on our soldiers' graves up there. So if you guys don't have anything to do, please come on out to this very, very important community event. One thing Don wanted to do is to get all the organizations together, and then the 19th through the 22nd, school's out, but club is in. If you have any kids, if you know of anybody who has kids but are like out of school and they need a place to go, club is open for that week from the 19th to the 22nd. And then we'll be closed from the 23rd to January 1st, and then the club reopens on January 2nd. We just want to wish you guys all a very Merry Christmas and thank you guys for your support throughout the years.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris? What time on the 17th do folks need to be at
That's at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.?
And at that time, President Obama will be delivering a proclamation, and then it'll be 12 noon when he does that. And when he's done with that, all across the country, people will be laying the Christmas wreaths at the exact same time.
Thank you.
Okay, personnel. Do you want to put them all together, or you want to do them separately?
Put them all together. You want to make a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
A second.
So all personnel, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Committee reports, admin and finance.
I'll have a report at the next meeting.
Okay. Airport Advisory Committee, next.
Yeah, but we didn't have a meeting, but they did get to use their new plow, and they said they were checking out the heater and everything. It was working good.
All right, that's a good day for that. Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management District, is it?
Next meeting will be in January.
Downtown Historic Preservation, Wednesday night.
We'll meet Wednesday, 5 o'clock at the library.
Thank you. Evans Plunge Advisory Committee, Kara?
In December, we have a buy two, get one free punch card. So if anybody is thinking about what they want to get for Christmas, please think about Evans Plunge. And we have the free swim day, this free community pool party on December 10th, as Scott had mentioned. From 10 to 12, we have a BOGO free admission, buy one, get one free deal on the 23rd, 24th, and 26th. And on the 23rd, we're open from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have an Evans Plunge meeting tomorrow night. We called that because we wanted to be more prepared for the closure. That's going to happen from the 23rd of January through February 6th. And we're going to discuss, we're going to have James Forward there to present on the concrete ramp, the accessible concrete ramp that we're considering putting in. Tim Tesh is going to give us some input on decisions for boating and on some exercise equipment, I guess. And we also have some new information on the donations that we talked about, how to structure that. We are going to get an update from Tom on hot water showers, so members will be happy that we're considering putting in hot water showers. And on the 2017 closure, we're going to plan, more of those details on this meeting as well. After that, the next meeting is on January 19th at 7 p.m. So our year-to-date revenue is $809,954.75, which includes the 212 subsidy of $80,190.50. Our year-to-date expenses are $641,341, which includes the portion of the bond loan payment of $33,111.25. So November's revenue is $127,672.27. Again, it includes the subsidy of the $80,190.50. And the expenses for November are $80,197.50, which includes the interest portion on the bond.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. You said tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night at 6.
Isn't that the 6th? I thought it was the 7th that your meeting was.
It's tomorrow night, the 6th.
The
It's the
6th?
5th.
So it's the 6th?
The feedback meeting?
Yeah.
I believe it's Wednesday.
Yeah, I thought it was
Oh,
Yeah,
Wednesday. You're
Yeah, we've
right.
been going back and
It's-
forth on this
Yeah.
for a while in our minds, but it's
That's
always
after
been
the historic
Wednesday.
preservation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, Wednesday's a busy night here.
Thank you, Kara, for getting those, the bars in the health club. They look really nice.
Yep, that was Chris and Nolan and Tom, and they're working real hard down there. Thanks.
Great, thanks everybody. That's awesome. Item F, Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Cultural Development. I know we had a meeting today.
You turned the lights on for me.
I did.
Yes, we did. And Barbara came and talked, Barbara Walters came and talked about Lacey Burglar. I just wanted to pronounce that right. From her hometown of Upper Sandusky, Ohio. She apparently is looking for sponsors for a disc golf. I don't know anything about it, but I told him I would Google it and find out more about it, and Nolan's going to look into it a little bit more also for her. She is looking for pin pals, so if you're interested in in being a pin pal to this young lady who's 15 years old and is already a champion at this sport, please contact Barbara for more details. And we talked about the end of the month. We'll be finishing up the roof at Brookside, and then the spring installation of the bathrooms fixtures there. We talked about the quotes for the tennis and basketball court, and we also went over the Wellmark grant, which there should be more detail in the paper coming out tomorrow, if you're interested in knowing more about the Wellmark grant for the extension of Freedom Trail. It will be a hard-packed line extension, but it's still going to give us around 2.20 miles of walk, so that would be really nice. And that's, we also talked about, that's from Big Baths to Upper Chautauqua. And that's about all that we discussed at the Parks meeting. It will be again next month, the first Monday, full Monday of the month.
So I think that actually won't be on the same day as City Council in January.
It won't?
Isn't Monday the holiday?
Sunday.
But is Monday the city
Monday
holiday?
is observed
Yeah.
by the city, so the second
Oh,
will
yeah.
be closed, but the
Yeah.
third will have the parks meeting. And it'll be, same as council, it'll be 7 o'clock on the third instead of 7 on the second.
Thank you for that.
I have a question. Am I working? Mm-hmm. The extension to Chautauqua Park, will that use the existing old railroad bed?
It will.
All right, thank you.
We're actually following the Parks plan, and yeah, it will.
Yay. Thank you. Kim, did you want to report anything for planning and zoning, or you just want to talk about all the items that you have on the agenda?
No,
Or both?
just so that the people know, the next planning and zoning meeting is on December 21st at 7 o'clock at the City Hall.
Thank you. Mr. Nelson, public safety.
Next public safety will be December 21st, I believe.
That's right.
Okay. Nothing to report from your last meeting?
Did that at the last council meeting.
Okay. All right, just checking. All right, Public Works, Tim.
We did have a public works meeting, discussed the slash pile burning and chipping, which is also as part of the agenda tonight. We did some project updates. Cattle guards out at the ponds are done. Drive-through gate is put in. Talked about the new sewer line down by River Street. All the one calls are in. They should be starting on that. I see we paid for a bunch of equipment. The gypsum project up on the hill. They did some work there, found some water main. They started building the road up there. We discussed heat lean out at the airport with the gravel. That's tied up with government paperwork. Boulder Falls bids.
Federal government,
Federal government.
just,
The Boulder Falls is also tied up with, other than city government paperwork,
state.
state. Okay. And we discussed the truck routing around Family Dollar, which we were gonna have a resolution, but we've resolved part of that problem already, so we're no longer discussing. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Skylar, Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory Committee?
We had a meeting earlier tonight and we discussed the rates for next year. And they will probably come before the council at the next meeting,
Okay.
next city council
You're
meeting.
taking a final look at it?
Yep, there's still some things to fix, so.
Okay,
Yep.
good, thank you. So we're planning to roll that out on the 1st of January then, or?
Yes.
Okay. And Andrea, the Volunteer Fire Department?
Next Tuesday at 7 o'clock.
Somebody? I think you're right.
13, let's go with that.
12:13, all right. Thank you. Okay. Ordinances, item A, discussion and possible motion to adopt ordinance 1169, an ordinance to amend 18-A-.03 vacant structure registration requirement. Should be familiar with it. We made some changes from the last meeting. Kim implemented those. So. If we don't adopt this, that means what we have on the books remains. So I don't even remember what it said.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 1169 as written.
Sorry, I didn't get the second.
Kara.
Thanks.
So I have a motion and a second. Do we want to have any further discussion?
It's cleaned up pretty good.
I just want to thank Kim for all the hard work she's put into this. I know it went around and around, and she really put a lot of time and effort into this ordinance, and I just wanted to acknowledge her for that.
Any other comments, discussion?
Comments. I too appreciate all the time Kim has put into this. I'm still concerned about the November 17th letter that she provided as far as justification for it. I'm concerned that it seems to be a revenue stream for the city. And I'm also concerned that it has the potential to be a little heavy-handed as related to how properties are handled if they don't meet how the city feels that the property should be managed. So I'm still concerned about that. I don't think that it has the individual property owner's best interest in mind.
I'd just like to take a second to address that. A particular line of that memo, which regards the eventuality if no compliance and no one works with us, what the end results will be, is typical of all of our enforcement actions, whether it's in vacant structures, nuisance, zoning enforcement, or any other type of enforcement. I was told to put that into the information that was gathered to you, because in our discussion at the Planning and Zoning Commission, they felt very strongly that that was the most important part. If you look at our, for example, our brand-new housing study, it talks about we need to make better efforts to either tear down dilapidated structures, acquire vacant structures or dilapidated structures and tear them down to turn over for new housing. That's a typical way that people think about a mechanism that a city or municipality has to get rid of blight and move it into a functional order. It wasn't a goal of this particular ordinance change. It was just a fact that any type of enforcement, if you have somebody that's unwilling to work with you, does nothing, takes no steps to improve the situation or work with the city, it eventually, over time, will end up with the loss of a property. The likelihood of that happening, especially with the way that our office runs or the way that the city runs, because everything would have to go through city council anyhow, is unlikely. But it is just part of the enforcement process.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Roll call, please. It's an ordinance.
Yep, thank you. Misty?
Kara Hagan? Yes. Georgia Holmes?
Yes.
Andrea Kramer? Yes. Bob Nelson?
No.
Caroline Schwarzenbach?
No.
Krista Spillane?
Yes.
Tim Tesher?
No.
Skylar Wetzel?
Yes.
5-3.
Motion carried. If I counted correctly? Okay. Item B, first reading of ordinance 1171, an ordinance to amend section 22-11, obstruction of streets and sidewalks prohibited.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, you can do it, but it's just the first reading, so you don't
Well.
have to.
Did you get a second on that?
I'll get your motion. I didn't get a second yet.
I'll second it.
So we're only voting to accept the first reading, correct? So do you want to do a roll call on that?
That's what I was told, yes.
Will you please do a roll call on that?
Yes. Kara Hagan? Yes. Georgia Holmes?
Yes.
Andrea Kramer? Yes. Bob Nelson?
Yes.
Caroline Schwarzenbach?
Yes.
Krista Spillane?
Yes.
Tim Tesher?
Yes.
Skylar Wetzel?
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Thank you, motion carried. Item C, first reading of ordinance 1172, an ordinance to amend chapter 27-A, mixed use district dash, is that a 1 or an I? 1?
It's an
I'll
I.
make that motion.
It's an I.
Aye. Thank you. So I think you had a motion. I don't know if you have a second.
I'll second it.
And can you do a roll call vote since this is an ordinance also?
Yes.
Do we get discussion?
Discussion? Sure.
Line 219. The whole document, the whole ordinance prior to 219 leaves the authority with the council. This particular line says, unless the zoning administrator determines that there's been a substantial change. I'm not sure why that needs to be there. If the council approved them to begin with, I think the council ought to determine whether there is a substantial change in the circumstance surrounding the request. So I would like to make an amendment to remove line 219 through 220.
You make that motion, I second that.
So you're requesting that unless the zoning administrator determines that there has been a substantial change in circumstances surrounding the request.
Yes,
That's what you're asking to be removed?
yes.
Okay.
Kim?
Essentially, just to clarify, Bob, by doing that, you'd make it more restrictive on somebody who makes a modification to it to reapply to the council. So that'd be a filtering level. I presume you understood that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a motion and second to remove lines 219 and 220. Any other discussion? So we're fine with it except for those 2 lines, is that? So I need a roll call vote on that as amended.
Sorry. So you're voting on the first reading of the ordinance with the amendments.
With the amendment, right?
Is everybody clear on
Yeah.
that? Yeah. It's a first reading, so you don't really pass the first reading anyway, so.
I was told by Yvonne at Municipal
It's just-
League to
we'll
do it, so.
We'll vote on the amendment.
The first reading with amendments.
Okay. We're just gonna vote on the first reading of the ordinance with the change. If anyone doesn't like the change, then you would vote no on this. We can go back to the original motion.
Right.
Kara Hagan,
No.
Georgia Holmes,
No.
Andrea Kramer. Yes. Carolyn Schwarzenbach,
Yes.
Bob Nelson,
Yes.
Krista Spillane,
Yes.
Tim Tesher,
No.
and Skylar Wetzel.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-3.
Motion carried. Council agreed to remove the resolution, so I will move to new business. Item A, discussion and possible motion to approve automatic budget supplement of $26,000 to Evans Plunge Mineral Springs Building Repair, revenue received from insurance claim from hail damage to the roof.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Can you explain to me a little bit? That's the money we got back from the insurance company, or what is this?
So state law allows us to automatically deposit the insurance refund.
Right.
And that's what it is. That
Mhm. Yeah.
26,000 is our insurance money for the cost of the repair that we already paid for.
So it was actually money that we got back, okay.
Yeah, we don't ask to approve the automatic budget supplement until the money is actually received.
Right, okay.
Any other questions, concerns?
And this is just for the front half, right?
Yes, the lower spray foam application above the offices.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item B, discussion and possible motion to use Escalante tree service to chip city maintenance shop / pile in January of 2017.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? This is $26,700, I think? Yes. Any discussion? You got a good explanation there?
We had to do something with our pile. A lot. It's 2 years.
No questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Pile got bigger. Item C, discussion and possible motion to initiate clean and lean procedures for code violations at 242 South 17th Street. You have pictures and explanation provided by Ms. Barbieri in your packet.
Motion
I'll
to
second.
clean and lean procedures.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
I have a question about that. the owners of this property could certainly take care of this. They were awarded a facade grant for their business. And I would like to see them, I'd like to see it further pursued that they take care of this and not stick the city with this bill. I find it inappropriate. That's my comment.
I actually agree, maybe. Maybe I agree, I don't know.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess like, it's kind of shocking to me, I guess. Not that we have homes like this, but who actually was the owner of it. And I agree with Carol Ann. I think that, again, it goes back to accountability. It's not that they don't have the means to do so. I think there's just lack of it.
With the lien procedures on it, though, it does go back to them.
Directly to them. They're
Who
responsible.
knows when we'd
It's
ever
actually,
do
it's
that.
Funds are
actually
supposed
a,
to be used for people who cannot, who don't have the means to be able, who are in a hard time, not for individuals who, I don't want to say lazy, but choose not to. That's not what those funds, in my mind, maybe someone else has a different mind, but that's not in my mind what those funds are used for.
I know there's on the property would be an assessment, but they may never sell that. We might never recover that money.
you misunderstand. This is an assessment. If it was a lien, it would go directly onto the property for when it sells. When we do an assessment, and would be an assessment, it actually would be paid at tax time, which would be in January, February.
And they have to pay that when they pay their taxes.
Or else they default on their taxes. We actually get paid before the taxes due. I also want to say that there's some personal things going on with the owners of the property. This has not been their number one priority at this point. I can't go into that any further, but this is actually a more expensive way to do a cleanup at the property, and they're full aware of the situation. It's just actually easier for them at this point with the other things that are on their plate to concentrate on those things and allow the city to take care of things this way. I wish I could say more, but I can't.
So we're going to clean it up because they're too busy to do it?
They have some personal family issues that...
Are you talking about the owners or the tenants?
The owners, the tenants don't care.
Okay, so the owners...
The tenants don't care.
Right.
Right. I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
I just think it sets a bad precedent.
And I do want to make sure that you know that this is not something that I cooked up on my own. This was a direct complaint from a neighbor who's going to be selling their property. So any lengthy extensions that I give directly affect them.
Kim, let me get this straight. So the city isn't going to get stuck with this bill.
No.
It will be paid.
Correct. What happens is I'll get my 3 cost quotes. I'll get it to the lowest bidder. They'll go out and clean up the property. That property, they will give me a bill. That bill will directly be assessed to their taxes. We would get paid before the taxes. And I'm hoping to get this done before the end of the year so that we could get it on for January.
Okay.
Are they current on their taxes?
They are.
And what if they don't pay their taxes?
Then it would go through the county process of tax collection.
And could you explain that?
From what I understand of it is they would be issued fines as it would go further, and eventually they could lose the property.
So how long does that take?
Usually takes about a year.
I thought it was longer than that.
It depends on the property and the
Maybe
amount.
he knows.
5 years.
5 years, I think.
Yeah, it depends on the property and the amount owed too, so,
So it could be 5 years
yes.
before we get the money back for cleaning up their property because they're too busy to do it. Thank you.
How much is in this fund that you currently have?
About 16,000.
16,000?
I don't anticipate spending more than 2,000 to 3,000 on this.
I thought it was 10,000 was in that. I called and asked Misty.
You might have better knowledge than I didn't check my funds right before I came here, so.
How much are you looking to spend?
Maybe 3 to 5.
So how many other properties in town need to use these funds or how many that you have on the radar, and this one here takes precedence over the ones who actually need help?
I don't have anything ready for the end of the year, and then we go into a new fiscal year. So this would be the last one. The other two clean and leans that you did with me, I did one for 600, and then the other one I've been able to do thus far without leaning the property or assessing the property at this point. And that was in your regular folders, the outcome of that. I really try and do as much handwork as possible with these people before I do the tax assessment.
Kim? So the property was identified through a nuisance?
It was a complaint from the next door neighbor.
Okay. And then you talk about help cleaning up. Help cleanup is the contractors you were talking about, 3?
I would have to get three particular quotes, go with the lowest, and then go through the cleanup process.
Okay. And then the cost, there was a couple figures that were thrown around.
I'm thinking anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. It depends on if I can get them to remove the vehicle on their own, or if we have to do that one. That's the big question mark.
And that figure is considerably higher than the others that you had talked about. I drove by it.
Yes, it is. It is higher because it's kind of all the way around, and I'm a little bit concerned what we're going to find when we get closer to the house. So.
Then you're...
The 3,000.
Going to get paid back sooner than 5 years?
I'm anticipating that we would I would anticipate, if everything works out right, that I'd be able to get it on for the January tax.
But you can't guarantee that.
I can't guarantee.
You cannot. And can you guarantee that the same thing won't happen to the house again? And by next year, it'll be in the same condition?
That's always the risk with a clean and lean. If people aren't responsible for their property, they don't learn from that process. But I've gone through every step that I can at this point, and this is where we're at.
Kim, there's one thing I think maybe that is a problem here too. When it is rented, there's issues in getting renters removed. And I don't think everybody understands those issues, but isn't that true?
That is true. I don't know if the Peckrons have gone through and looked at evicting at this point. It's a mother that it's rented to, but she has two entire families, 2 of her children and their families living with her.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Opposed.
Do you want to do?
I got Kramer and Schwartzbach opposed.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion carried. All right, and you have a finance officer report in your packets, but Misty, if you'd like to say anything else? We're wrapping it up, yeah.
Yes, you did get a monthly finance officer report and a reminder of year-end spending and budgets. Hopefully you've read through that. I did get a number of questions this time around from council members regarding the numbers in the finance officer report, so I hope you're getting more comfortable looking at them. And I'm glad every time you ask me a question. My heart flutters, it truly does, because I get excited about this stuff, and I'm glad to know that you're paying attention and you like it too. We've got a lot of big projects coming up, and so our finances are an important piece of that. So I'm glad to have so many questions. A couple other things I wanted to talk about: state minimum wage increase going up the first of the year, 10 cents for minimum wage from $8.55 to $8.65. Had some requests to have a cost of living increase on the next council agenda for approval. That's definitely a council decision. We talked about it at budget time, but who, how much, and what is something that we need to hammer out, and we'll get it on for the next council meeting to have approved for our January 1 wage scale resolution, or I guess it won't be January 1, but the next meeting in January. We've been working a lot on policy updates and gotten some feedback from some of you, and that's on our next admin finance agenda. What we've done since we passed the initial policies is try yearly to go through them and make sweeping updates to anything that we identified throughout the year that maybe was a little ambiguous or needed to be clarified to make following our policies easier. And so if you have read through those and you have any feedback that you haven't provided yet, please get it to us before the admin finance meeting on Monday the 12th at noon. And the city employees and the city council are all invited to a Christmas potluck Christmas holiday party at 6 p.m. The 16th at the clubhouse. And hopefully, barring any emergencies this year, more and more of us will get to make it, because I had to miss it last year because it was a terrible Christmas season. So I'm hoping for a much better happy holiday season. I hope to see as many of you there with your families as can make it.
Thanks for that reminder, too. Nolan, City Administrator report.
I'll just keep mine brief. If you guys have in your packets on the left side for info only, 2 ordinances that will most likely be on the next agenda. There's one regarding parks and one regarding a new fine and bond schedule. So tonight is a busy night for ordinances. We'll have the adoption of the 2 that were approved tonight, and then also 2 additional ones. If you have feedback on either of those, reach out to me as soon as you can. I know parks, we went through that a little bit today, kind of informally after the meeting, have some edits to make to that also immediately. One of those is, I believe, the hours we discussed, and another one to just make modifications there. And like Misty said, we have minimum wage going up here at the end of the year. At the next council meeting, will also be, like Misty alluded to, the COLA conversation. So that'll be kind of a longer meeting, so be sure to be prepared for that. If you have any questions, ask myself or ask Misty as soon as you have them.
Which one is this longer meeting going to be?
The next council meeting.
The next council meeting.
Last one of the year.
Okay.
Hey Nolan, just want to say thank you for getting the Evans Twins gift certificates and golf certificates for South Dakota travel package that we made for the club in Texas, and we're going to be sending that off this week.
Yeah, we hope it has a good audience. We're happy to do it. Happy to have the plunge in the golf course to be able to donate those to you. So, yep, Chris and Kathy are on the ball with that.
Nolan, thanks for preparing the council with those 2 ordinances and not putting them on this agenda. Appreciate that. There's a lot going on. Are you done?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, just want to make sure. I wanted to make sure the entire council knew that we had our first graduating class, 5th graders, I believe, of the DARE program. Our Captain Wayman ran the program very successfully. It was a packed house. Nolan and I had to stand. I want to thank Nolan for representing the city there, as well as Captain Wayman, and our chief's 5th grader graduated too, so that was a good sign. I think it's a really good program, and I really appreciate those who donated to the program so that we could have it. I think it was very successful from what I saw. Also, we did have the forum with Secretary McDonald. We had a packed house. We were very busy. The State Home also helped in the festivities. It was quite an event. I want to thank Bob for his contributions to the visit as well, and all those in Save the VA. I thought the meeting went very well, and just want to thank the community for participating and giving their final comments to the secretary. I think it's important that we make sure that they know we love having the VA here, and we want to increase the services there if we can. Prior to the meeting, Carol Ann discussed possibly during the winter months using a smaller room. Bob, maybe you can help me out. Do we heat this just when we're here?
No, it runs about the same all the time.
It runs about the same all the time, okay. So, I don't know, Carol Ann, if...
Heat too.
What's that?
It's geothermal heat, so we don't pay heating bill for the facility.
Yeah, so I'm open to suggestions if you don't want to be in here in the winter or whatever, but if it's not a difference in the heating cost, then maybe it's no. Okay. All right, and Misty, shared the Christmas party information, so hope to see you all there, and we'll see you on the 19th, if not before.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you all. Thanks for coming. Be brave souls and drive safe.